when Norm and Alicia said, yeah, we'd like to have the Shires share their successes, I had all kinds of ideas. I said, yeah, but we want to hear about this. And so the Crisis R&R, which really was a fun project, community living room approach to crisis respite services. And I said, well, I really can't do that justice because the driver and leader of this has been our local community mental health Lifeways. And so we have Mary Beth Leonard, the leader of that organization, and Doug, I can't remember your last name, Brinker, who's, I would say, is the face of the Crisis R&R, is going to share his personal experience. So they're going to tell you all about it.
All right, so this was an exciting opportunity, but probably the first thing to talk about is why. Why did Jackson decide to look at a community living room model, which we call the Crisis R&R, which stands for rest and relaxation. Why did we put that into play, and why did we go down that road? And probably the first and most important reason why was when we looked at the utilization of inpatient for the population that the community mental health serves. It has grown substantially year by year over the last probably 8 years. And it's doubled than what it was in 2012. When we look at that increase, the other challenge that we're faced as a community mental health, as many across Michigan are right now, is around the emergency room boarding issue. Is the fact that even though a person might meet criteria for inpatient, the ability to access beds across the state of Michigan for specific populations is very challenging. And I have had individuals in my ED for up to 2 weeks while we try to find placement. And that is not an appropriate place for an individual who's in a mental health crisis. Emergency rooms are not designed to treat behavioral health emergencies, but physical health crisis. And so it was an opportunity for us to think outside of the box. And a community living room model is a model that is other states are implementing as a means for diversion out of the emergency room. And again, a desire to really truly be able to provide an intervention earlier for individuals. This actually is data relative to the growth that we've seen since we've implemented our Crisis R&R. You can see when we implemented it back in April of 18, and it has been a constant growth relative to people utilizing that. And what the Crisis R&R is, if you don't know anything about a community living room model, it is an alternative for an individual who is in crisis. It's a location that's actually on site at Lifeways. And people, we do not, it's not for any specific population, like many people at community mental health, it's for Medicaid. Anybody in the community can access this service. Right now, the hours are just during the day, but we are looking at, we did get a millage in our counties, and we are looking to expand. That's how we are going to sustain this program moving forward. But right now, people come into that, and he will talk a lot about what it is they actually do. As a peer that works in the Crisis R&R, but you can see that the numbers indicate that there is a need, and it is able to divert individuals out of the ED, as this next slide shows. So this actually shows you what happens with that individual after they've been utilizing our Crisis R&R. What happened to them at the end? Did they go back to their natural setting? Some of them were placed in our crisis residential unit, our crisis home, and then some of them were placed in the hospital. But if you look at those numbers and then you were to calculate the cost relative to somebody being placed in an inpatient psychiatric unit versus the ability for us to provide Crisis R&R, it is actually a huge savings to our community to be able to do this. The other thing that we do is we do have individuals, because I'm a data geek. Before I became a CEO, one of the many hats I wore was quality. And it really is important that we have an ability to have outcomes, to be able to show what it is that individuals achieve as a result, that they have improved as a result of utilizing the crisis R&R. And we implement the profile of mood states, and it's a psychological rating scale to assess a person's level of stress before and after. And as you can see, it has improved, and people, it's a linear progression, but people are improving as a result of, they take it before and after when they're leaving. So I'm going to go ahead and now pass this to Doug to kind of talk about what a typical visit looks like for somebody that comes to utilize our crisis R&R. So here, Doug.
Thank you, Mary Beth. I didn't know everybody was thinking of me and my birthday, but they brought my balloons. That's great. The planners, I thank you. Let me take you a backstory before I do this. September 1999, I walked into Lifeways because prior to that 1 month, I was in the emergency room as I tried to overdose and take my life. 2 years later, I tried again. It's because this organization and this program today that I am here by the grace of God to be able to be a survivor and to be a state certified peer support specialist. With that, for a typical visit, so let's role play. You're going to pretend you're coming in suicidal. You're going to pretend you're coming in suicidal. Hi, my name is Doug. What brings you in today? Okay. Have you ever been into the crisis R&R before? Okay. Well, the R&R started May 14th, 2018, and we help people find themselves, find hope. We orientate them with coping skills. We offer them something to eat, something to drink. We are an advocate for your welfare. And more importantly, we've been in similar situations that you're going through. We haven't walked in the exact shoes you're walking in, but I can tell you we've been down the road of heck, and we have fought back to recovery. And whatever we can do to help you recover, we're here for you. So that right there is just a glimpse of what we do when we come into when you come into the R&R. You come in and have a hands-on personal relationship with a peer. My other two colleagues, they have their own background recovery. And we have that ability to advocate for you, to relate to you, because we've been kicked. We've been thrown under the bus. We've been rejected by society because we are the low. And so when you come in, you're greeted by us. We do that warm handoff. We do the POM assessment. We do a disposition call. We take and welcome you into part of Lifeways family, because that's what you become once you come into the R&R. Other things we do is we have that connection, that whole social determinant hub screen. We do one of those because most of our guests that come in for more than one crisis. They come in because they're homeless. They just lost transportation. They just lost their job. They're having actual CPS or APS problems, and we get involved and advocate. We have that ability as peers to reach out into our great community and connect them to other services. Legal aid. Many of our guests that come in, they don't know how to work the system. They don't know who to contact because their crisis is so elevated. It gives them hope that they have somebody on their side, in their corner, to help them out in their greatest need of time. One of the other things that I've appreciated about this program, because like I said before, I wish this program was around in 1999, because if it would have, it wouldn't have taken me 20 years to recover. I might have recovered in 2 to 3, 3 to 5. But I am thankful because what this has provided me is now it's given me greater opportunities. What better to celebrate your birthday and present with the CEO CEO of a company that reached out and saved my life 20 years ago. That is why I am honored to work here, because I didn't apply at Lifeways. I'm a blue-collar guy. I spent all my life working in blue-collar, cooking, driving truck, landscaping business owner, janitorial. I didn't put suits and ties on for work because I didn't have that confidence, because I didn't have people that believed in me and believed that peers deserved to have a seat at the table in the mental health program. And so that's what's given me the hope of knowing that I can help people. And now that ability has helped me reach out to being the VFW Michigan Post-Traumatic Stress Director. We've already intervened on 3 attempts to my fellow comrades in the state of Michigan. It's because of this program. It's because what I've learned in the last 2 years from working as a peer in the crisis R&R, I'm now able to take what I've learned, step out into the community, not even in mental health, but step out over into the Department of Michigan VFW and make sure that we start saving the veterans' lives from suicide. That's what I'm tired of. My other point, I don't have my phone because my good friend back there is recording. I have a 19-year-old Marine that just joined the Marine Corps 9 months ago. He's down in North Carolina. We know, as a Marine, he will deploy. We know that he may get hurt. We know that he may fall on hard times when he comes home. We know that he may need an ear to listen to. And that's what a peer is, because we've been able to teach already with him. I personally have sat down and shared that it ain't worth throwing in the towel on your life. That's what Lifeways and the Crisis R&R does for people. We are a beacon of hope. Hope stands for helping one person every day. That's what hope is all about.
Thank you, Doug. I think it pretty much summarizes why it's so important that we have peers that are the face that greet individuals in our crisis R&R. But again, the other important things that happen is the warm handoff, connecting with brief screening at Lifeways so that we can get people connected as quickly as possible with services. The ability also to make sure that individuals who are discharged with a plan relative to what do they need to do. Often they see the same people, they might come back the next day, or they come back for the next several days for the support so that they can prevent ending up in a more intensive service like the hospital. Am I not? It froze. Uh-oh, it did freeze. Well, I will just tell you some next steps, because I think those are the ones that are on the next slide, is what are we doing to sustain it, because I think that's the important thing, is like I had indicated, Lifeways was a community mental health authority. We are the first authority in the state of Michigan to pass a mental health millage with our counties, both in Jackson and Hillsdale. And we are utilizing those funds to really create a 24/7 crisis center. It's going to have a continuum of services, this being one of them, as a 23-hour observation. So we will be expanding the hours for the program, but it will allow an individual then to be able to utilize that, or to be able to use crisis residential, which will also be on site if somebody needs a longer term placement. But it is a critical need. We have to do more in a community to keep people from being boarded in the emergency department. With that, I will leave it open to questions.
I have a question just in regards to how does a typical community resident know to go and utilize your services as opposed to heading towards the ED?
Well, how do they know to utilize ours versus what?
Going to the ED.
Well, part of it is education. So one of the next steps that was on next steps is really marketing. How do we, the challenge as a community mental health prior to the millage was the funds to be able to do some mass marketing around the crisis R&R. We do advertise it on our website, we advertise it through our Facebook page. We do communicate it to the community, but obviously we do need to do more. And the challenge right now is our building is being renovated in order for us to be able to create this 24/7 crisis center. Some of that marketing won't occur until the building is actually complete, which will be in August of next year.
Question on, what is the community living room look like? Is it more like a living room? Or
Yes.
is it like a beds and stuff that people can see? Or-
It's, the model, when you look at it, it is a national model, and they call it a community living room, and it's really